Hi, my name is Reed Silverne. The name of the show is Fed Pride. The reason it's called Fed Pride is because I'm a federal worker and proud of it. I'm going to remove that crazy thing that came down. What I'm going to talk to you about today, I was going to talk about the Fort Dix terrorists. Again, today is May 11th, and you'll probably see this on Tuesday, probably May 15th, or the following Sunday on May 20th. Or maybe you'll see this in about 6 months as a rerun. So everything I talk about, if I talk about the news, as I always say, is probably going to be totally obsolete by the time you see it. And I'm going to, as you can see behind me, I have Google Earth. Today I have America behind me. I'm going to do the semi-traditional turn of the earth, which I've been doing lately, just to show that I can. And that is Google Earth behind you. We have a blue screen, and on the blue screen is superimposed what we have on the internet, and that's how the system works today. I am my own engineer. I have to praise the staff over here for setting up my shot, but everything else on this show is basically done by me. I don't have a person in the control room. Nobody's helping me. I don't have a guest. I don't have to organize anybody to make this show go on. It's basically I'm either there or not. If I'm looking off screen, I'm checking the audio, or I'm checking the computer behind me, and that's why you see me look off screen from time to time. So that's basically what I'm doing. But today I am going to talk about something that's very close to my own heart, at least this week, because on Monday I got 5 teeth taken out by a dental surgeon. And let me tell you about it. It hurts. And it doesn't hurt like whatever. It hurts like heck, which I think is a word that I can say. And I was amazed at how much it did, because to me, and what kind of was presented to me was, hey, this is a routine operation. It's really not an operation, just an outpatient thing. You go in there, put you under for a half an hour, very, very short thing. Wake you up within an hour, keep you for a half an hour to make sure that you stay alive. And then we send you home, and no big deal. Watch yourself. A few days, you're going to be back to normal. Well, I'll tell you, it's 4 days, and you are not back to normal. I actually went back to the dentist because right above here, it just hurts like crazy, worse than the other ones. And the dentist, who's a different dentist in the same shop, looked at the chart and said, oh boy, said they had to pull this right out of the jaw, and you got a big gap there, and that's why you have this loose skin. So there's really something to wisdom teeth. Then again, I never really thought about it. I've had all 4 of my wisdom teeth for quite a long time. And everybody I've talked to, oh yeah, I had my wisdom teeth taken out. Oh yeah, they had to put me under. Oh, it hurt for a couple of weeks, or it didn't hurt at all, or I don't even remember it. And just about everybody I've run into has had their wisdom teeth taken out. Now, apparently, I'm a baby boomer. I guess it wasn't the absolute procedure that everybody who got wisdom teeth would have them take it out. But apparently that became to be a practice a little while later. And all the people I've talked to in their 40s, in their 30s, in their 20s, they've all had their wisdom teeth taken out and don't have any. Now, what are wisdom teeth? And for once, and I'm going to have to look away when I pull it back up, I'm going to pull this off, and surprise, surprise, I had a little internet picture of wisdom tooth coming in. Basically, what the wisdom tooth is it is your 3rd set of molars. When you're 6 years old, you get your first set, and you can chew all you want. When you're 12 years old, you get this set over here. And when you're about 17 to 25 years old, you get this 3rd set of what they call wisdom teeth. Some people don't get it at all. Some people don't have the gene for it. Other people do. I've looked up some things on the internet and talked to some people, and apparently when we were just running around, not so much a jungle, but in nature. Basically, we ate roots. We actually ate raw meat and sometimes barely cooked meat. And people had to do so much chewing on in such poor conditions that the second molar would start to, first and second molar, would start to wear out. And of course, our design parameters are about between 25 and 35 years old. Even during the Roman Empire, the average lifespan of even the wealthy people was about 35 years. Very, very rare to see a grandpa. Very, very rare to see somebody my age. White hair, tremendous rarity, as was a white beard. If you got to be old enough to get a white beard, you were considered old and wise, and tremendously tough, because disease or war or battle or just darn, tapeworms would take you out usually before that. So basically, older people, as late as 25 years old, dads and so on and so forth, people would have their kids. They'd get married at 13 the minute they were fertile. By the time they were 25, they already had 11, 12-year-old kids, and those kids were a year or two away from getting married. By the time they were 30, they were grandpas a couple times over, if they made it that far. So people basically had an extra set of molars that came in and replaced these teeth, which would be ground to bits. And then, of course, other teeth would fall out, and there was space. Now, about 20, 30 years ago, dentists decided that there were so many impacted wisdom teeth that people just didn't get that far, basically, and that it impacted the amount of space in your jaw. The jaw just wasn't designed to have 3 sets of molars, and a lot of people, let me show you, here's the normal tooth. Here's the tooth about to come in. If it comes in on an angle like this and actually touches or it gets in the way of the other molar over here, it's called impacted. And sometimes it'll break. Sometimes it'll break in two. Sometimes it'll push this other tooth. Sometimes you'll get a big gap right over here. Food will get in it, and it'll rot your gums away. Or it'll rot your tooth away, your good tooth. And some dentists just decided that we're just going to take them all out. And in my day, apparently, I guess in the 1960s, they didn't necessarily take every wisdom tooth out. But later on, somebody said, let's just take them all out. It's hard to clean back there. You're going to get food pockets. You're going to get cavities in this tooth over here. And rather than have all this trouble and all these impacted wisdom teeth, we're just going to start taking them out. And I have an article over here that basically says taking out healthy wisdom teeth is probably not that good an idea. It is a surgery. Now, basically, it's presented as so normal. And tell you, if you're 40 or under and you have your wisdom teeth, you're probably a rarity. If you don't, talk to the people around you and say, by the way, did you get your wisdom teeth out? And I'm sure just about every person is going to say, oh yeah, they took it out when I was a teenager. They took it out when I was in my 20s. I went to the dentist one time and he said, it's time to take your wisdom teeth out. Put me under for a little while, and boom, my wisdom teeth are gone. Well, I'll tell you, it is an outpatient procedure, but I'm finding out that it's not painless, and that even if it's painless while the procedure is going on, which means they give you an anesthesia, which they did for me, it certainly starts hurting later. And on top of that, you get these big gaps as they pull these out from the bone. Get these big holes in here, which are called sockets, and you can get dry socket, and the sockets can get infected, so you have to be really, really careful. I've been on basically pudding and ice cream and yogurt all week long. Probably going to have to go through that another week. Already went back to the dentist saying, this thing still hurts. What's going on? And he said, basically, that's normal. You got this big gap over here, and it's gonna heal up. It will heal up if you're supposed to take these rinses, and I have this disinfectant rinse that I'm using. And if you're smart enough not to pack this with food, and eventually they'll give you a little syringe kind of thing to wash out these sockets over here. But it takes a while, a couple of weeks, for those things to heal up. I went into the internet because I was interested in this. Of course, I'm basically pretty drastically impacted by it. And sure enough, there were 50 posts, people saying it's worse than I thought. Nobody really saying I wish I didn't do it, but everybody's saying whatever you do, don't eat hard food, don't eat anything with seeds. You get one seed in here and it will hurt like the dickens. And on top of that, it may infect. If it gets infected, then you really have a problem. And on top of that, some people not only get an infection in here, and then let's think of this as upside down at the upper wisdom tooth. And right behind it, right over here, and right over here, are a bunch of sinuses. And the infection can go from your tooth into your sinuses. And then, especially if you have allergies, you're in deep trouble. So you have to be very, very careful, even though you're an outpatient. You have to be real, real careful what you eat and how long it is. You have to get follow-up look-ats. If the dentist doesn't set you up for a follow-up interview and check you out a week later, or even less if possible, go to another dentist, because you really do need it. And you really need to get this checked, because even though they send you home, it's nothing, what the heck, who cares, just an outpatient procedure, a lot can go wrong with it. It's not going to cause you to drop dead or anything, hopefully, but could cause you tremendous amount of pain. And again, I may or may not be talking normally now. I don't really look at myself enough, especially except when I'm doing my show. So I don't know if I'm swollen over here, but I sure feel swollen over here and over here. I ended up getting 5 teeth taken out, all my wisdom teeth, plus another tooth that was really the equivalent of this tooth over here, but on the upper left-hand side, or right over there. And that particular tooth was a real problem, because apparently there was a gap between the wisdom tooth and this tooth over here. That gap infected, and it caused a big giant cavity in this tooth, to the point where that one hit the bone and that one had to be taken out too. I sure hope I can chew when this whole thing's over, because over here I'm going to have 2 molars, here 2 molars, here 2 molars, and up here, actually it's this side, I'm only going to have 1 molar left. So I'm going to have 2 molars biting next to 1 molar. And well, I guess if kids who are 6 to 12 can eat meat and have a hamburger and so on and so forth with only 1 set of molars, I guess I can too. So it'll be an adventure, and we'll see what happens. I am not absolutely sure. Of course, you're hearing me at probably the worst time, and I have the worst possible opinion that everybody needs to get their wisdom teeth taken out. Sure, there's somebody out there who has healthy teeth, who have enough room over here so that they actually come in okay. Basically, what started this off with me, right over here, that I basically bit down on a tortilla chip at a restaurant, and part of the wisdom tooth actually broke apart and came out in my mouth. Fortunately, I didn't swallow it or choke on it or whatever. And I looked down, and there's a little piece of tooth, actually pretty big, like this big. And on that little piece of tooth was part of a filling. So it actually broke apart at the filling and split in two, and I had this big sharp circular thing right here, like that, as this part of the tooth came right out. And apparently that was a pretty tough tooth, because that was the tooth that had to be pulled out straight out of the jaw, and I have a socket in there that reaches all the way into the jaw. So that's my adventure with wisdom teeth. Again, right now the popular wisdom is that pretty much if a dentist sees you and he says, "Oh gee, I see you have your wisdom teeth, let's take them all out," that seems to be a very, very common thing to happen. A few dentists are beginning to question that, apparently, and saying they're healthy teeth and they're not impacted and they're not pushing against the other tooth, and they're not creating a gap that destroys your gum and creates who knows how much trouble. Don't bother. Don't take it out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to look away for a second, and I'm going to bring up Google Earth. So we're back to normal over here after my little talk about wisdom teeth and are they necessary and do we need to take them out. And I'm going to look at myself in the mirror later, and I'm going to look at my swollen mouth and just say, "Well, boy, what did I get myself into?" And hopefully next week I'll feel a lot better. I can't guarantee it. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Fort Dix people. A couple days ago, and it's, of course, that's to me on a Friday, saying a couple days ago, there was a big announcement that 6 Muslims had been arrested here in the southern part of New Jersey, Cherry Hill, and that they'd been under investigation for about 15 months, and basically they were plotting. There's a army base over here, which is kind of like the base from which they send soldiers out to Iraq and Afghanistan, called Fort Dix, and that these people, these 6 people, were buying weapons, buying M16s, buying AK-47 Kalashnikov rifles, and getting ready to try to raid the base and shoot as many soldiers as they could. Who are these people? These people were Muslims, and only one was a citizen. A lot of people are noting now that 2 of them were illegal aliens. 2 of them, maybe up to 3. Let me see if I can find that particular part of the article about who they were. And 3 of them were members of the same family, and the Duca brothers. And the Duca brothers are Albanian, and they're Albanian from Kosovo. Now, to be very honest with you, I've met Albanians before. Albanians, just for, everybody thinks, or many people think, that when they think of a Muslim, they think of a person who looks like he's from Saudi Arabia, black hair, black or brown eyes, dark skin. But not all Muslims are kind of this beige color. Albanians look like they're from Poland or Russia. Very white, clear skin, many blue-eyed, and a lot of them are blonde. So Albanians, let me let's go take a look and see where Albania is exactly. Okay, what we're doing is we're going to Europe over here, and we're going to turn the world just a little bit, try to get it clear. Okay, and right here above Greece, this over here is Albania. This is Albania over here, and right here above Albania, but inland, is Kosovo, and Kosovo was originally a part of Serbia. The Serbians are Orthodox, are Russian Orthodox, or actually they're Serbian Orthodox, but they're Orthodox Christians. But the Albanians over here and over here are Muslims, and they became Muslim during the Turkish Empire. Originally, the Turks controlled everything all throughout almost all of Romania, all the way up to Hungary. And this big peninsula here is called the Balkan Peninsula. And there's a lot of recent history over here where Yugoslavia, which was composed of Serbia, Kosovo, Montenegro, Bosnia, and Croatia, and Slovenia, all broke apart. There was a terrible war and almost a genocidal war where the Serbians, a lot of Serbians were left in what became the other countries of that area, but were part of, they were the dominant group in Yugoslavia. They started slaughtering other people, especially some of the Muslims who had collaborated. Bosnians here are about 40–50% Muslim, and Albanians, and the Bosnians especially, and the Croatians had teamed up with the Germans during World War II, the Nazis, and had seriously genocided a lot of Serbs. Probably 1 million Serbs, 1 to 2 million Serbs were killed. And after the Jews, for some reason, Hitler hated Serbs and really started getting rid of them, and had invited a lot of these Muslims into the SS. So there was a lot of resentment. And basically, during this war, which started in 1992 or 91 and lasted until 95, the Serbs in Bosnia started slaughtering Bosnians, killed about 100,000. One particular incident, 7,000 were killed in one day, Srebrenica. And later, we stopped that war in 1995. Later, the Serbs, Kosovo was a province of Serbia, but about 80% of its inhabitants were Muslim Albanians. And the Serbs started genociding and ethnically cleansing out these Albanians, and forced over 1 million to flee before America stepped in. So basically, most Kosovars are very, very favorable to the United States because basically we saved them. And I'm not going to put it less bluntly than that. We saved them. We saved their lives. We separated out Kosovo from the rest of Serbia, and we set up a UN force, which we participated in as well, and a separate force, I think it was called KFORs, to protect these Muslim Albanians. And some of the Albanians came to America at that time. And this family, this Duca family, was one of those families. And it's one of those cases. There's about 200 members of the extended Duca family. They have roofing, little roofing companies all over New Jersey. And it's one of these cases where the elder generation are very pro-American immigrants in, but the younger generation came under the influence of radical Muslims and started this little group inspired by jihadists, inspired by Al-Qaeda. And they were caught by a clerk at a Best Buy in New Jersey. They had come in with a tape that they wanted to put onto a DVD of themselves shooting off guns and crying, God is great, Allahu Akbar, and jihad, and so on and so forth. There were 10 on these tapes, and this clerk turned it into the FBI. The FBI started to investigate them, found out that they were serious enough to actually try to buy machine guns in order to do a terrorist act. They were infiltrated by 2 informants, and then one of the informants apparently did a sting operation to sell them machine guns, but apparently they had also another source of weapons that they're going to try to find out now, and that they had a maybe not credible, but pretty mature plan to go in there, if they couldn't get into Fort Dix proper, to shoot up the people trying to drive in at the guard gate and to shoot them up with machine guns. So it's a scary kind of thing. These are people that are, if not citizens, at least raised in the United States. Pardon me for that. And my name is Reed Silver. The name of the show is Fed Pride. The reason it's called Fed Pride is because I'm a federal worker, proud of it.